Welcome everyone to the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. Appreciate you joining me as always. It's that day. It's Friday, and you know what that means. It's Fan Friday here on the podcast, and this is where we bring in fans from all across the country, mostly Washington Commanders fans, but today I think I have an Eagles fan coming on, Philadelphia Eagles fan, and I've just recently spoke with Chicago's Bears fan who wants to come on. So, we're going to mix this thing up and we try to open the format up. It's a fun time. We have a great time talking about favorite teams, players, but just basic NFL rhetoric. And again, if you want to join this show in the future, all you have to do is email me at Lake Lewis Jr. or the Lake Lewis Jr. show at gmail.com. So once again, email me at the Lake Lewis Jr. show at gmail.com and just let me know you want to come on. And all I need is your email if you do want to come on so we can shoot you over the link. We do this show at 5 o'clock on Fridays as far as the fan show. If you want to follow and subscribe to this podcast, which is a daily show, all you have to do is follow me on social media at Lake Lewis Jr., or you can subscribe to the podcast. Once again, the Lake Lewis Jr. Show on YouTube, or you can subscribe to it via any audio carrier where it's, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora. It's on all the major carriers. So we're going to have a good time today. This is one of those shows that I look forward to each week. It's growing. It's picking up. It's a fan-friendly show. And when we come back, we'll have on fans today as we break everything down. And welcome back, everyone, to the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. It's that day. It's the special day of the week that we've been doing this all off season. It's Fan Friday, and we bring in fans of the Washington Commanders. Tonight, we've got some fans for the Philadelphia Eagles. So this is sure to be an interesting show today. But as always, if you want to come on this show, all you have to do is email me at thelakeLewisJr. at gmail.com. Let me know you want to come on, and we will get you on. These gentlemen today are living testament of that. If you reach out, I'm going to do my best to get you on. I don't care how many of you pop up in here, but let's just have some civil, great conversation. So as we do, if you're just joining the show, appreciate you guys coming on. What we do is I'll lob some questions up for you guys, and then you guys answer them. So what we do is we try to give everyone about 30 seconds to 45 seconds to get their answers out. We try to be mindful of that because I want everybody to be able to feel like they spoke today, not one time, but like 4 or 5 times. So, be mindful of the questions. And I try to make it hard on you as far as being fans. I'm not going to lob softballs up. We're going to ask some real questions. So the first question today that I do want to get your take on is, with free agency kind of winding down just a tad right now, I want to get your grade. So today we're giving 2 grades. We're giving a grade for the Commanders, and we're giving a grade for the Eagles. And we're going to let the Eagles fans in here today give a grade for Washington and vice versa. So, nobody can give another team an F, so don't do that. All right, so let's fire it up. I'm going to start with Bradford up there. I see him in the corner. So, Bradford, you're up. What's the grade you would give Washington so far as free agency?
As far as free agency, I would give Washington just an A minus.
Okay.
I feel like we have touched every position of need. I feel like in most rooms, minus like the defensive line, I think we're kind of the same as last year. But every other room, like offensive line, wide receivers, cornerback, we have raised the floor
Okay.
to where at least those positions are better than they were last year. Now, I do believe like at defensive line, at wide receiver, we're about the same. So we got to lean towards the draft to see that end product. But other than that, I give us an A.
Okay, that's fair.
Or
That's
A
fair.
minus. Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull in one more Commander fan, and then we'll switch over to the Eagles fans, and then we'll come back and forth. So let's go over with Brad, so I can get the Brads out the way.
You said Bradford, that's my name too. So I started to raise my hand like it too. It's for I'll agree with Savage. I'm gonna say A minus because the Eagles and everybody else ran the ball on us, and we got some beef on our offensive line. I'd rather that defensive line. So, and that's what we needed to do. And you got to protect your investment. So we got a left tackle over there. So I'm gonna give him an A minus as well.
Okay. All right. Fair stuff. So now let's go over to our Eagles guys over here. So any one of you guys can fire it up. I want to get what you think your grade is free agency wise for the Eagles.
All right. Am I the only Eagles fan on here, or is there someone else as well?
Leslie, I think right now you might be it. You might be a one-man band today. So you
Okay.
got it. You got it. It's your show.
Today.
For Philadelphia, I would say probably a strong B plus.
Okay.
I don't feel, of course, the C.J. Gardner-Johnson, that trade caught everyone by surprise.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see where we have. Well, let me start by saying this. There's two sides of grading free agency, right?
Mm-hmm.
I look at the attempt.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to fill a spot with maybe a missing link, or say, hey, we need to get better at this spot, so for example, for the Skins, you guys need to get better, I would assume, at defensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So you got the boy Kinlaw, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for that, I would give an A. And then, I would say, like whether he pans out or not, I would say probably a B plus for him, right? So I look at that. That's how I look at free agency. So with that being said, we haven't replaced that spot. You know what I mean? With C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I do like the Azeez Ojulari pickup.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was nice. And he knows the division.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Which is very smart.
Very smart. Very smart. So he knows the division. The Uche pick, I actually wanted him last year.
Mm-hmm.
When we traded Hassan Reddick. I was like, do whatever we need to do, because remember, there was a lot of people talking about Joshua Uche being better than Reddick back in the 2022 season. I think he had 12 sacks with New England.
I do remember that.
Mm-hmm. So
you got to hurry it up though, Leslie, because you
I said it's about a B. I give us about a B plus, man.
Okay.
It's about a B plus.
All right, and then real quick, I want to get your take on what would you give Washington free agency wise?
I would give Washington a strong B plus. I like the Debo move because he fits your offense to a T. You guys like to get the ball, get it out of Jaden's hands immediately.
Okay.
So that's what he's known for, getting that ball anywhere around the line of scrimmage, depending on his yak. And I think that was a perfect fit for you guys. Kinlaw, nah.
Okay. I mean, well, a lot of people are down on Javon. A lot of people are like, the team overpaid for him. I don't think so. And I'm just going to say this in this regard.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at his numbers last year with the Jets, surprisingly, that was his best season and numbers wise. And that was for a train wreck. I mean, let's call it like it is. The Jets were a hot mess last year. I don't see how anyone could have a career year in that, and he did. So I think, the money may be a little bit more, but I think having familiarity with Adam Peters, helps him. And I think he fills a huge void for Washington. I mean, he's more of a space eater that they needed on that defensive front. So real quick, we'll move on to some of the other guys and get their take.
Sure, absolutely.
But yeah, man, I love this. I love having an opposing fan coming on here and breaking it down. So let's go with Josh here. Josh, what would you say free agency wise?
I've got two. I think for the offense, A minus or a solid A, because first of all, they're protecting the investment. I mean, Tunsil, come on. That I was doing cartwheels in the parking lot, man. And Debo. I mean, a 5th round for Debo. Come on, crazy. And like our Eagles brother down there said, I mean, he fits us to a T. Defense, I give a solid B plus. I agree with the Kinlaw. I didn't know at first, but after doing some research and seeing his numbers with the Jets, I didn't realize it was his best year until a couple days ago.
Yep.
Yeah. So plus Peters knows him from San Francisco. So that's the big thing right there. Peters knows him.
Yeah.
I think that we need to beef it up in the draft with defense a little bit. So we'll see. I'm excited for it, but fun so far. So much fun.
All right. Let's get Tony on. Tony, welcome back. Your second week in a row joining. So
yeah, it's good to be back, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say A, man, for a couple of reasons. This wasn't the strongest free agent class this season. I don't think,
Mhm.
we had some glaring needs. We needed the trenches fortified in a major way. And I feel like they brought in some guys that bring size and versatility and depth to the area. And in other positions, we brought back guys that we needed to bring back that were good locker room fits that, filled great roles for us last year, man. I like Noah Brown coming back, man. Like he does a lot of things for us. We brought in some secondary players that a lot of people hadn't seen play a lot, man, but one of them's got two Super Bowl championship rings. The other one, Will Harris, man, he shined for me when we played him. He popped off the screen. He had 9 tackles and 2
Mhm.
pass breakups, man. I mean, overall, like I feel like we did a great job so far, man.
Okay.
And what we're missing, we can address in the draft.
All right. All right. So let's we got Deuce up there. What's up, brother?
Yeah, what's going on? Thanks for having me. I'm gonna go with A minus. Laramie Tunsil, being the age that he is, most elite left tackles play well until they're 30. So I think that's a great investment for years to come. Debo and Will Harris bring something that I don't think we had a lot of last year, and that's attitude. I think they're going to bring a lot of attitude to the offense and to the defense. And the special thing with Debo, even like talking about the Eagles run the most 4, 5, and 6 cover zone in the NFL. And one of the things that we lacked was someone to be able to make plays underneath and get yak yards, which Debo brings. And the Eagles to Debo, he's had his most, like a lot of his elite games, a lot of his best games came against the Philadelphia Eagles. We tried to dump off early against them last year. You see where the fumbles started happening. Debo is a player that's not going to do that. So as far as the Eagles attacking the best, the best team in the NFC, in the NFC, Debo is going to be the one that's going to really help us to be able to bring them out of that zone so we can get Terry over the top.
All right. Good stuff. Herb, what's up? What you got, brother?
Which one?
We're gonna go Herb Jr.
So starting off, first of all, thanks for bringing me on again.
Appreciate it.
I think that we are, like everybody else has been saying, A minus. You address the needs as far as the defensive line up front, because if everybody else is able to run up on you and you're in the 32nd defense in the league, you need to beef it up.
Yeah.
And you address
100%.
Laramie Tunsil, which not only just him bringing him in, he upgrades the whole entire line because now Coleman can move to either right tackle or left guard. Everybody else can readjust, and we have a better. And I mean, with Jaden playing last year, you was able to go ahead and have a pretty productive offense with a fair at best line. Tunsil coming in makes everybody better. As far as addressing giving Terry a running mate with Debo, you got him for cheap. The one thing I've been saying on my show for a while is that you want to get good quality players at a fair price. Yeah. You addressed every single one of them. So honestly, I have to give it to where just on value alone, give it an A minus.
That's fair. All right, let's go Herb Senior, and welcome Herb to the first time joining us. I appreciate that.
Like my son said, thanks for having me. I appreciate that. I'm going to give them the rushing grade. I'm not going to give them the A. And I'll tell you why. Because first of all, I think the Tunsil and the Debo moves, those are trades. They're not free agency. That costs you more than money. It costs you picks. So you had to give up some draft. You had to give up some draft capital for that.
Right.
They're good trades, and I love them, but it's not free agency to me. Free agency when you just sign somebody else's player.
Right.
I love some of the peripheral things. I'm an Adam Peters fan for life. I mean, Adam I trust. You know? And so the secondary people that he get that I may not even heard of, those guys end up being players. And I also like the fact that we've signed our own guys. That may have been as important as anything in free agency, is making sure you sign Bobby Wagner and the rest of those guys. It was important to keep your own players, keep them in the system. I also like the fact we picked up an ex-Cowboy. What's his name? Gallup. We just, but that's just
Michael
because
Gallup.
I hate the Cowboys. Okay. So,
Hands.
but all in all, I think they did a good job, but I'm not giving them the A because, like I said, I don't count Debo and I don't count Tunsil as free agents. I count them as trades.
Okay.
So,
well, that's good stuff. That's fair. And then we got one more that hasn't answered. So we need to get your opinion. Let's go, Jerry.
Well, Lake, I appreciate you for having me, but I kind of fall in line with Herb Senior. But I mean, it's pretty much agreeable with Leslie and the rest of the guys. I'm in the B plus, A minus range. I love Tunzel. I love Debo. I love what he can do,
Hey.
after the catch. I love the fact that they brought back Ertz. I love the fact that they brought back Wagner. Ertz is a safety blanket for Jaden Daniels, and they're going to have continuity. And he's comfortable with him. He trusts Ertz, so that's very big. Michael Gallup, Eddie Goldman, Kinlaw.
That's big.
Those guys
Yeah.
are big.
Mhm.
Those are big guys. 6'6", 320. That's Kinlaw, some 320-ish. Eddie
Yeah.
Goldman is at 330-ish. I mean,
Mhm.
Jonathan Allen, I like him. I think he's the more talented D tackle. But regarding what Dan Quinn does with his players and how he executes his technique, I think he's going to be able to get more success out of somebody who's Kinlaw size, 6'6", 320, and also Eddie Goldman size, 330 plus pounds. You need to complement somebody that size with a guy like Jerzon Newton and Deron Payne to kind of offset offensive schemes like the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay. So if you guys thought that I was going to have you on today and keep it quiet like this and keep it, real civil, well, of course you got to keep it civil.
Like,
But,
I didn't get the answer.
Yeah.
well, go ahead. Because I can't see everybody. So yeah, my bad. Go ahead and answer. Go ahead and answer.
Put me on this screen, baby.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Dex, what's up, man? My bad.
That means I get an extra 15 seconds. But no, check this out. I give it a solid A, right? But only for these reasons, because KJ, if we get something out of Michael Gallup, no, not KJ, but Michael Gallup, he's a step up from
Dayami?
No, not Dayami, but the other Jamison Crowder. He's a step up from Jamison Crowder. You see what I'm saying? And Debo is a step up from Dayami. And then you got all of these. Jonathan Jones is a step up from Benjamin St-Juste. And then you got all these step ups that are just better, and they got better. Like Kinlaw is a step up from Sebastian Day. You got all of these signings that you got that are better than what we had. So how could you not give it something solid as an A? Because they got better in those positions. Do we have positions that we need to fill? For sure, but the free agency wasn't just as talented. It wasn't just blowout talented, but we did get talent better than the talent that we had. So I would have to say, like, oh, whoa, this is a solid A. I can't even A minus that. That's a solid because we got better in certain places. And we lost Michael Davis, but still kept Noah McNaghy. You know what I'm saying? It's so many people.
I can't argue with you. I've been saying the same thing, that the Will Harris signing in particular is everyone's like, oh man, you let Jeremy Chin go, and Will Harris is an upgrade. And I'm not taking anything away from Jeremy Chin because he's still developing into a really good football player. He's still young, relatively speaking. But Jeremy Chin struggled in coverage. We all know that. He's a guy that will come up and hit you really good, but he struggled in coverage. Will Harris is a true free safety. He's a guy that actually can play strong safety too. He can play in the box. He can play corner. He's played a lot of different positions, but he's a guy that can track a football. And God knows that secondary on the back end needs that. They need playmakers back there. So I thought that was a big move on that. So what I'm doing is, and I'm, just so to make sure that I got everybody in here. So I see everyone on my screen except for Jerry, except for Dex, and except for Herb Senior. So I can remember those three guys. That's everybody. Am I missing anyone that hasn't answered? Bang. All right, so we're good. All right, so now we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna turn up the heat just a tad here. I need to do this because Leslie's up in here and Eagles fan. He's wearing his Eagles garb, and I respect that. I truly do. The Eagles are the best team in football. I think we all can agree to that. Yeah. They are until somebody dethrones them, and they look like they're capable of going on a little mini run, and they should be uttering the words dynasty up in Philadelphia.
Absolutely.
But I also think that the Eagles know, and I'm not saying think. I'm telling you, for me being in Philadelphia for that NFC Championship game, hearing guys saying to me, players, fans, that they really feel like Washington might be the logical team that might be their running mate, as far as a rivalry. All week long, I've had people getting on me, guys, saying there's no rivalry there. The Eagles don't look at Washington like that. They think the Cowboys are their rival. And I keep telling people the Cowboys aren't even Washington's rival right now. Rivalries, you have to be winning in order to make it something sustainable. There's a reason why the Ravens and Steelers have been going at it for so long, because didn't they just play in the playoffs again this year? Washington and Philadelphia just went to the NFC Championship with young quarterbacks. So that's why I say this is sustainable. So I want to get your take on that. Let's start with Leslie. We always start with our guests first. So what's your take on that? Do you feel like this is the NFL's next big rivalry?
I think it has the potential to be. What I will say is I want, I'm on a lot of different Eagles chats and groups and stuff like that. In the NFC East, you have teams and fans that don't like each other.
Right.
Majority of the Eagles fans, for whatever reason, they root for the Redskins as long as it's not Dallas, not the the Commanders. You know what I'm talking about.
I know, we got you.
They root for the Commanders as long as it's not the Giants or the Cowboys. So me being from the DMV, I grew up in the Largo, Bowie, Upper Marlboro area. I can't stand the Commanders fans. I can't stand it. So it's different for me. I'm cool with the Giants winning, not the Cowboys and not the Commanders. And you know what I mean? So
right.
I think it definitely has the potential to be. I think Jaden I think he's the real deal. I think he's going to get better. And even if he does not get better, even if he stays where he's at right now,
it's better than most.
That's still a top level thing. And I think if that continues to happen, I think it is. I think it could be Commies, Eagles, maybe Detroit, maybe. The Rams, depending on how long Stanford continues to go. But yeah, I would say those are the 4 teams I throw in that mix.
Sounds like a conversation we had 2 weeks ago.
It does, and again, when we do this show, when I have you guys on, it's sometimes going to go back to things we've talked about because they're still relevant. It's going to be relevant until proven otherwise. And for me, it's very relevant. This is the marquee matchup in the league right now, and how can it not be when you have your rookie of the year and then you have your Super Bowl MVP, in the same division, your Super Bowl champion. It's naturally progressing that way. So I had a couple old heads, get in my DMs this week and tell me, oh man, every team in the NFC East is a rivalry. And, guy said he was old enough to remember the Cardinals, and I burst his bubble because I was like, you know what? So am I. I remember Jim Hart and Roy Green and all those guys. But guess what? There was no way they were a rival to Washington. That was all Dallas back then. So let's get your take on this. We'll start back up at the top. Bradford Savage. There we go. Because I know Brad Jones jumped just now. Bradford Savage, do you feel like that this could be the NFL's next rivalry? Does it have a chance to maybe be on par, at least right now, with the Steelers and the Ravens?
I think so, without a doubt. I think people keep saying, oh, we're going to see Jaden year 2. Does he get better? I don't need to see year 2 to know he's going to be better because of how he worked in year 1.
Right.
Because he has that type of work ethic, he's going to go nowhere but up. So to see what he did in year 1 with the talent that we had, and we go to all the way to play Philly in the playoffs in the NFC championship, that tells me that Philly's talent is going nowhere, no time soon. And Jaden and our talent is getting better. We're not going to do nothing but close the gap. And so I think it's going to be us versus them for at least 3 to 4 years to come until their contracts get due and they got to reset. Ours are going to go nothing but up. Even when we pay Jaden, it's going to be more like a Mahomes effect than like a Stroud or somebody like that effect where he kind of took a step back. So I think it's definitely going to be.
And you also have
in the NFC.
And you guys also have to remember that Jalen Hurts is under contract for the foreseeable future too. So there's another reason why I say it's sustainable. And then final thing, and then I'll toss it back to you guys. This is the worst. That was the worst Commanders team that Jaden Daniels will ever play for.
Base model.
Right. There you go, Herb, with the base model. Now they're getting the upgrades and they're driving it off the lot as opposed to, I don't know, getting it used or whatever. Exactly. So you just keep those things in mind. And I think some of the fans of other teams are the ones that are getting mad about this. I think Eagles fans know and Washington's fans know that this is getting ready to be some violent football games. Make no mistake about it. It's going to be old school NFC East.
Right.
City's going to start hating each other again. I mean, my family's from Philly. I remember I didn't go up there when I was younger because they were trying to break people's legs in the stands. Well, they did, but so we're not going there. But anyway, let's go over here. Let's go back to Brad Jones. What's your take on that?
I can agree with Leslie. I can see why Philly fans say it's not, because they've been beating us bad for a long time.
Bad.
So I can see why they like that ain't no rival, right?
Mhm.
But to answer your question, I think so because of JD5. I think look what he did in one season to our organization.
Mhm.
Look what he did to the fan base. None of us will be on your show, Lake, if we was 3-13.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
nobody want. I used to
Facts.
send emails out last year, and they're like,
Right.
"Man, whatever."
So yeah, I think until Savage's point, we are only going to get better. They're the cream of the crop right now, and they got young dogs over there in Philly.
Yeah.
So I think, and we got a genius at GM. So once he start, playing that chessboard, I think it'll be a rivalry to a great one to come.
Okay. All right. So let's go to Jerry here. What's up, Jerry? What you got, man?
Well, I think like the rest of the guys, JD5, he's the truth. He brought the team together. He lifted them. He put them on the back. He led them in rushing. He had a phenomenal year passing. He's smart. He can process from the pocket. The biggest question for me is Washington is a target now.
Yeah.
Teams are going to go back and look at a year's worth of footage.
Yep.
They're going to watch Jay Daniels. They're going to watch every game. They're going to watch the games that he had hiccups. They're going to watch the games that he may have showed some signs of tentativeness. And they're going to try to expose him. So my biggest thing is I really think it is a rivalry, but I need to see how their team responds to being a target. There's some new faces, so they got to build the chemistry. They got to build the synergy. That's going to, happen during the OTAs and the training camps and all that kind of stuff. But you're a target now. And so I just want to see. I think there's a rivalry because they did upgrade in a lot of areas. JD5 is the truth. But I just want to see how the team responds, how they come out, how they play during the season, midway and toward the end of the season, being a target, because that's a big factor. Teams
Major
got
factor.
you posted up on the wall now, like, okay, I'm marking this day. I'm getting ready because this and this happened.
That's
at
called
this
being
point in the season.
worried.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that is. That's called being worried. Like before, it was none of that. It was like Washington on the schedule. Like, man, how much how many catches, how many rushing yards do I need to get my bonus this year? It's not going to be any of that now. So things have changed. So Dex, you're up. What do you have?
You hear that, Leslie?
Hey man, I will say, man, that is and I meant to say that. I do want to see how you guys respond because Washington right now is a top 5-6 team that could potentially win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So when you guys go into stadiums now, some teams you are going to be their Super Bowl now. So it's a whole different ball game, boss.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
You're the
bad.
hunter instead of the hunter. You're the hunter.
It's my turn, Leslie. Let me cut into
my fault, baby.
You're the hunted now. You're not the hunter. You're the hunted.
I barely got a turn the first time, and you trying to take my shot.
My fault, baby. I owe you, man.
Listen, so I believe, like my brain works in so many levels, and I respect what you say, like when you say the Cowboys are not winning right now, so like they can be a rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, but when I think of the word rivalry, I think of grudge match. You know what I'm saying? I think of something that's like that burns inside of you. And one thing about the Cowboys, every time we play the Cowboys, they get up for us. They could lose every game and play us back to back, and they're gonna get up for both of those games. Just like
they do.
Like when people play the Lakers, they get up for the Lakers. When people play the Yankees, they get up for the Yankees. They get up for us every time. So I can't diminish the Cowboys still being a rivalry or a grudge match, but Bobby Wagner, Jaden Daniels, Frankie Louvu, and a lot of those other players have a bad taste in their mouth from that NFC Championship. So I believe it has already gotten there from that NFC Championship and how we lost.
And then you add a guy like Deebo Samuel in who was taunting the Eagles when last time they played. So I mean,
we waiting for Deebo.
It adds fuel to the fire. And
waiting for Deebo.
Yeah,
coming. Don't worry, he coming.
I didn't blame
Deebo coming.
and you know the thing is that Adam Peters, if you don't think that he knows how to push buttons, then you're missing the point here. Because this guy's bringing in guys, you could say, they're washed or whatever. That's the young folks rhetoric, like for washed up. But the point is, when I listened to Deebo on our press conference yesterday, I walked away from that presser like, this doesn't sound like a guy that feels like that. This is a guy that feels like his best ball is coming. And that's how Laramie Tunsil's been talking. These guys know they're coming to Washington to get to a Super Bowl. They know that they're coming to Washington, that they're going to be on primetime football. They're going to be playing the Eagles, the Super Bowl champions, twice, potentially 3 times. They understand what the assignment is. And it's not just to be, good or get back to the playoffs, No, it's going to be a failure of a season if they're not competing against the Eagles head to head when it matters. So real quick, let's get back to the other guys here. Tony, what do you have, my friend?
Yeah, man. When I was coming up in the 80s and 90s, you too probably, like rivalries were different.
Yep.
Very different.
The players genuinely did not like each other on the field.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They had actual dislike for each other. Nowadays, if you turn on Micah Parsons' podcast, you see Jaden's jersey in the background. That's real. You really will. Like they exchange jerseys after the game. They're hugging and kikiing and stuff. So, I mean, it's different now.
Mm-hmm.
To be a rivalry to me, it has to be, the games have to be competitive. We have to be 2 teams that one of them isn't just beating the hell out the other all the time.
Right.
But the games, like you said, have to be meaningful. You know what I mean? And I'm feeling like playing the Eagles from here on out, these are going to be important games for the division.
Every last one.
For the season, and with a high likelihood of us seeing each other in the playoffs. It's like the Ravens and the Steelers were, and still kind of are. So I'm saying, yeah, I think it is a rivalry in the making. And they might not take us seriously yet, but they will.
And you know what, guys? Let's look at it this way. How many you guys remember when the 49ers and Seattle were becoming a more of a rivalry? It wasn't we're saying that that's their longtime rivalry and it's going to stay that way, but those 2 teams were competing to get to the Super Bowl every year at that point. So of course it mattered. Well, to me, that's now Washington and Philadelphia. I know Washington has to prove to a lot of people that they can do it again, but I think if you look at what they've done, what they've put together, and the fact that they have an elite franchise caliber quarterback, that changes everything for your expectations, and it should. I've said all along, if Jaden Daniels is no worse than the second best player on the field, Washington has a chance to win the game. If he's the best player on the field on that Sunday, they're winning the football game. So that's good. You got 50-50 proposition no matter what. All right, so let's go to Deuce. What you got, Deuce?
Yeah, man. So living in DC, and we talk about the casual fans, like my aunts and my uncles and my cousins, they're Cowboy fans. So it's always going to be a rivalry at grandma's house. It doesn't matter the record. It doesn't, like, all they know is Cowboy. They don't know the players. They don't know any of that. So it's always going to be trash talk when it comes to that, dealing with them. And the thing about us being hunted, when people say, people going to, study you, see what your tendencies are, your weaknesses. Well, what do you think we're doing? Right? Cliff is also looking at those weaknesses, those tendencies and what he's going to get better. He's going to build off of those. So while those teams are looking at what we done last year, they're still behind the 8 ball. And Philly knows that, because Philly knows that they didn't stop Jaden Daniels in the NFC Championship game. They stopped the players around him. So not only are they not talking about their Super Bowl,
some of those players were stopping themselves too.
Exactly. Exactly. They're talking about Jaden Daniels, not their Super Bowl. So they understand what's coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at Leslie.
Look at Leslie.
Ooh-wee. All right, Jerry, what you got, man?
You guys are funny. I like this. I got to come back on here, man. You guys make me laugh, man.
You're going to love what I got to say then.
Well, you already asked me late, but if you want me to speak on it some more, I don't mind.
Nah, because I was just looking at you trying to stay calm in the video, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at Leslie because he was over there clowning.
My fault. I tried to hit the joint.
I feel what Dex is saying. I definitely agree with Tony. Like, yeah, it's going to be a matter of at this point, because we have upgraded at every position. Cliff is putting in work. The D coordinator and Dan Quinn and the rest of the guys, the special teams coach, them guys putting in work because
more speed, more
tasted
athleticism
Yeah.
on that defense now.
Oh,
That's and more size.
And
That was
about
the other
Will
thing.
Harris, I wanted to say this earlier. Will Harris processes the game at an elite level.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm talking about run fits and passing game, pass defense. He processes at an elite level.
Good points. Good points. We gotta get Herb Senior.
Okay.
What you
Since
got,
I'm
Herb
the
Senior?
OG here, okay, who remember back to Clint Longley throwing that bomb back in the late 70s, early 80s, okay? We're going to always hate the Cowboys. The Cowboys are always going to be the rival. We can't stand them. You know, I'd rather have a sister in a place of ill repute than a brother that's a Cowboy fan, okay? And I had to clean that up, by the way. Okay? So, the Cowboys are always number one on the list, and they number one on everybody in the NFC East list. Everybody hates the Cowboys, okay? I was there for the miracle on Monday night, okay, with Santana Moss, okay?
Yeah.
But I was also in RFK when they went 1-15, and we was the one, okay?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I will always hate them. Now, all respect to the Eagles. That's a phenomenal organization. I hate that you're taping this because I don't want Eagles fans to know I said it. But
We'll get them to edit it out.
Howie Roseman is a genius.
Yep.
I'm just hoping that AP is a junior Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman's done a great job.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sorry, we can't be serious about this if we're gonna say anything less than that. That
Well,
guy,
that's
done it.
facts. That's
You know,
facts.
and when they starting to change rules or think about changing rules for the stuff that you do, then that means you're ahead of the game. Because that if they try to get rid of the tush push and all of that stuff, that means you're ahead of the game. If they try to outlaw what you're doing, ask Bill Belichick, ask all the greats, ask Noel, you know, ask the Dolphins coach Shula, ask those guys. When they trying to outlaw what you're doing, that means you're ahead of the game. That means you're better than everybody. But who's always going to be my rival at 62 years old? It's the Cowboys. It will always be the Cowboys. They ain't going to change nothing but the Cowboys. Okay. Now, Philly's good, and those will be great games, and I'm going to love seeing them and whatnot. And I respect the hell out of them. But nah.
Okay,
nah.
well let me ask you this then, Herb Jr. I mean, you know, you see your dad, you see the love, you know, I get it. But if Washington's playing Philadelphia again this year for the NFC Championship, do you think your heart's going to pump more for that game, or do you think it will pump more for Dallas in a divisional playoff game?
Oh, no. I would sell my soul for the farther we get. You know, I mean, I'm lucky enough to have seen 3 Super Bowls in my adult life. Okay,
Right.
And like I said, I was in my 20s during the glory days. Okay, so nothing beats us winning a Super Bowl. Okay, no doubt about that.
Well, you saw 4 Super Bowls. You saw 3 wins.
I don't remember that.
We don't.
It's
It's like Bruno. We don't talk about it.
And actually, we were at 5. Okay, because we lost to the Dolphins in '72. Right.
I was
Yeah, I
was
know,
one. I was
Lake, hey, Lake, it's like Bruno. We don't talk about it. Okay.
Yeah, we don't talk about that Oakland one. No, that never happened.
So I give credence to that Oakland one because that was the last time that I ever cried over my team losing, and it was because my father. I think I told you guys that story. My father came in the room and said, "I don't ever in my life want to see you crying over some grown men that are still getting paid." And obviously, they didn't care about that performance, so why should you? And I was like, you know what? I'm never gonna cry over a loss.
Yeah, but my nightmares begin with Marcus Allen change of direction.
Yeah.
That or the rocket screen to Jack Squires. Okay.
Man, to end the half, you know, put them up 21-3. So real quick, what I want to do now, okay, and I wrote an article this week, and just let you guys know, you know, I gotta do a shameless plug.
I didn't go real quick.
Herb, you didn't answer that? No,
Nah,
yeah, well, go ahead. Well, go ahead.
By the way,
Go
no
ahead.
shameless about a plug.
Yeah,
Plug
I-
away.
No, I
I'm
do my
sorry. I'm
shameless
sorry. I
plug
I wanna-
afterwards. Go ahead. There you go.
Real quick. I'm only disappointed in in Leslie's Eagles because they got rid of Gardner Johnson. And if you remember, which I'm pretty sure he does, Gardner Johnson and Debo can't stand each other.
Yeah.
I was actually looking forward to seeing that rivalry because I was like, man, this is gonna be something to just latch on. And but like Pop said earlier, yeah, I have one of the greatest things that ever happened in my life when I actually used to work at the stadium. I was a usher, and that was the year that we beat the hell out of them. I think we had won like 35-7. I was able to actually, as I'm clocking out, I see Tuna walking out to go ahead and go to the bus, and I said, "Hey, Tuna, good game, bro." And he looked at me with this disdain, like he wanted to punch me in the face, but he couldn't. So, and seeing when Troy Vincent blocked the punt, blocked the kick, and Sean Taylor almost taking it to the house and winning the game on there. Those will forever be embellished into my memory. Like, this is what I look forward to. Yes, I hate the Eagles, but if you're asking me like, hey, what's the rivalry at this point? It's always going to be, I'll take the championships 8 times out of 7 days a week. But as far as like just being an actual like rival, I hate the Eagles, but it's nowhere near to where the Cowboys is. Now, if we go championship for championship, they may change.
Yeah. And
My
I hate this.
son, that's my son. I just want you to know.
Well, to stop your plug, by the way.
I mean, rest my father's soul. He's no longer with us, but he was a Cowboys fan. So yeah, I trust me, I dealt with it hard. But I got to do this shameless plug here real quick. It's part of what we're going to talk about though. But I wrote an article. I'm now the insider for heavy.com, and so I have an article that's getting ready to go up, and it's my power 10 right now, my top 10 power ranking, just the top 10. And I have Washington at 5. And we're like, wait a minute, was that misprint? No, it wasn't a misprint. I have Detroit at 6. Now, do I think Detroit is going to fall off the cliff? No, they're going to be a very good football team. But when you lose you lose your offensive coordinator, you lose your defensive coordinator, and you lose some players here or there. I mean, you got to recover from that, and it takes time. And I think people know that Jared Goff he's a really good quarterback, but he's not in that upper elite echelon. No way. So I have Washington there because of what they have at that quarterback position. So my question to you guys now, we can talk about this. Thanks for the little plug. I had to put that out there. Philadelphia's 1. I have Kansas City number 2. And for everyone saying to Kansas City, I know they got assaulted, and they should have arrested the Eagles on the field that game, literally. But the last time Kansas City lost the Super Bowl, you guys know what they did the following year.
And back it up.
They came back and won it. So they're not done. So I have my top 5. I have Philadelphia, Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo, and Washington. Okay. Then I have Detroit 6. I'm going to throw it at you guys. What do you guys think about that 5? And would you change anything? Is it agreeable for everyone? Even Leslie on here, even Dex, that the Eagles are number 1.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing to think about with that one.
Do we have to say it out loud though? Do we have to say it out loud?
I don't like it.
But the next thing though is that is it feasible? Is it safe to say that Washington could be number 5?
Yeah, I agree with your list 100%, man.
Anybody think that Detroit should be over Washington? Seriously.
I think a case can be made when you got Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yes.
When you got that offensive line, when you
Yes.
got the kid from Michigan coming back,
Hutchinson.
Hutchinson, they got going to have 15, 16 injuries amongst starters.
Mhm.
A case can be made, and they haven't lost a head coach.
Right.
And that's the guy that makes it move. So, hell, like I said, I love the Redskins, Commanders, whatever we calling them, but I don't think you can turn your back on Detroit just yet.
Okay.
I like to see what happens if they make it through the season
Yeah.
healthy.
Okay.
I have a different opinion on
Go
that.
ahead.
I think we can make a case that we could be number 4 on that list. So on the case of on the strength of the Bills have done nothing. They lost their number one corner.
Mm-hmm.
They lost their number one edge rusher. They don't have a wide receiver. They lost the one wide receiver that was doing amazing. Max Hollins, he's gone.
Yeah.
They haven't did anything. I don't.
So they may have taken a step back somewhat.
Yeah.
Right. I think you could put the Bills. I think the Lions cracked the top 5, and you put the Bills at 6.
Okay, that's fair.
I can agree with that.
I concur.
I mean, and I can't argue with that. The only reason, if I had to have any kind of pushback, is because what we saw this year, personally, I mean, James Cook had a really good year, but Josh Allen carried that team. Like, he literally put them on his back, and I don't think it's going to be anything different this year. It's just going to be, he's going to have to do it even more, and which I think he's capable of. So, yeah, I don't think you can go wrong when this is the thing, okay? I keep telling people this. The fact that we can mention that Washington is at 5, is at 4, is at 6, 7, 8, 9, I think all of us will take those numbers because before last year, it was 30, 31, 32.
Yeah.
Things have changed so drastically that now it's just getting used to being looked at as being good. Our Eagles guys in here right now, I mean, do you guys legitimately look at this Washington team as a legit threat to your team? That's the question. Legit threat.
I'm still the only Eagle guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Leslie.
I would say
Jesus Christ.
I'm taking on all y'all, baby. All y'all. I want all the smoke. I think they're a threat, as in we can't come into Washington, or even if the game is in Philly, and say that's an automatic win.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I look at as far as like being a threat. Now, do I think we're going to win? Yes. But I can't sit here and say, hey, man, we got Washington on the schedule. Okay. Because one thing I will say about Jayden Daniels, and, we saw this in week 16, is if you give him a chance to beat you, he'll beat you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Every time.
So
Yep.
that's where he is now at such a young age, that if you slip up, he will beat you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if we're on our P's and Q's and we rolling like the NFC Championship game, nah. But if we not,
But you
he
know
will
what?
beat you. He will beat you.
But you know what, Leslie, and I'm sure my brothers here will back this up.
Mm-hmm.
Washington didn't lose that game because of Jaden. That
Nah.
NFC Championship. Jaden actually was doing
All those fumbles.
Jaden
fumble.
Yeah, but I mean, Jaden was. I mean, you can make the argument
He was
from
walking
the way he played.
he was
one of
walking them
the
late.
he was one of the top 3 players on the field that day.
Oh yeah,
the way he
very
was playing.
proficient.
But see,
But
what you guys have to understand is, in Jaden, I would give him maybe a B- C+ in that game, and I'm gonna tell you why.
What?
That's
You
low.
had 48 pass attempts. How many yards did he throw for? 250? With
255.
48 pass attempts.
Robert.
But
Now,
but the
hold on,
game,
hold
but
on,
the
hold
but
on,
the
hold on,
but
hold on,
We
one
all got
second.
pushback on that right there
Hold on,
because
Yeah,
he had to
I
throw the
mean,
ball. They
you're-
got behind
you're
so
more
quick.
than-
He had to.
You're more than welcome to. But what I'm saying is this: my defense, they came to play, boss.
They did.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no,
So
you got
yes,
the best defense in the league.
No.
No, they got the best defense in the league.
Turnovers. They wasn't just
listen, man.
drop
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ball on the field. They was
Let me.
So
Okay,
it was
okay, so
14.
we'll
It
do
was
this.
14-12. Washington played. First of all, that was Washington's worst game of the season.
Yeah.
I was at every last one. That was their
Yeah.
worst game of the season.
Yeah.
But yet, the first half was their worst first half of the season. And guess
Yeah.
what? They
Yeah.
had a chance to tie the game at 14 if they had gotten that 2-point conversion. And if you look at the way that was going down, that was them moving the ball. They moved the first drive. They went down the field. I still think
see,
they
here's the
should have
thing.
went for it.
This is what and now we're gonna get into why Eagles fans are always talking about Redskins fans, or
Mhm.
Commanders fans. Sorry, excuse me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's just, you guys have to understand the way Vic Fangio calls his defense. He's going to give you all that underneath stuff.
Yeah.
That's a
So
fact.
that 18-yard play drive, that's nothing to us. I was popping popcorn during that drive.
Mhm.
Like,
We're gonna,
I don't like it.
what
I don't
the
like it.
Eagle, what the Eagles want to do to every single team is, you're not gonna beat us over top, and when we give you the little dump off stuff, we have to make the tackle. That's their defense.
So like when
That's the
Terry
defense.
scored on the little screen pass.
Exactly. Now you saw he broke about 3 or 4 tackles. Hey man, get Slay out of here, man.
No,
But you saw that, right? So again, and Jaden played good. I don't want to say like he didn't do anything, but what I'm saying to you guys is,
Boy, I see a lot of faces in here rubbing cheeks,
listen,
rubbing.
I'm all good with that. I'm all good with that.
Because this is
I think it's time to mute him, Lick.
So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, Leslie. I'm gonna say this, Leslie. That play you saw Terry make, the plays you didn't see Dayami make, Eckler make, those plays get made with Debo now. And I think, again, in order to beat a bully, because the Eagles are that, they bullied people, you have to bully them back. And that's where, I think it was Tony or someone said earlier that they have now, they have that identity. They're going to have a toughness on offense with Debo. They're going to have a toughness on defense now. I think that's the only way you can beat Philadelphia, because all you got to do is go back 2 years ago. Wasn't that the case when San Francisco rolled up in there? They punched the Eagles in the mouth, and the Eagles did not expect that. They weren't used to that.
Totally different situation though.
Well, the only reason, but it's not, because the guy who was part of that in San Fran is now in Washington running it, and he knows that that's the only way that they're going to be able to beat the Eagles is to punch them dead in the mouth. And I think he's trying to go out and get dogs who aren't afraid to try it.
Hey, Leslie, man, I'm sorry to jump in, bro.
Go ahead, baby. I'm with you. I'm here.
You got bragging rights. Y'all the champs. I get it.
This ain't about bragging rights. This is football talk.
We rapping. But our 2 starting running backs combined for 51 yards. Our quarterback ran for 48.
Yeah.
Yes, he threw the ball 38 times. And let's not forget he was a rookie. So let's give him his love, man. So he played good. He was the best player on the field for us. He really was.
Yeah, for Washington, without question.
For Washington, without a doubt, man. You know what I'm saying? So if we had a dog back there that can tote the ball, then you could probably see a difference. So he didn't play bad. He had to throw the ball 38 times.
I mean, that interception at the end of the game
was base model. It was base model.
Look at Herb.
I got one thing I got to say.
Hey, man,
I'm here for y'all. Come on, talk to me.
Here's what I'm going to say. Jaden specializes in those 12-play short pass drives. Y'all would think you said that's what he does.
That's the game plan.
That's his game plan. You play it into his hands. It's not his fault people were dropping balls. It's not his fault of the fumbles. I mean, if those guys hold on, that Eckler fumble, I think it was in the first or second quarter, that was a killer. Okay. So, and by the way, I'm going to give Philly credit for that because they forced the fumble. I mean, it was the hits that make the fumbles happen. I'm going to give you your roses and your respect. But don't think just because you make us go 13 plays down the field that's not what we want. We'll do that all day long. It ate up half the first quarter.
All season.
Okay. We take those. And this kid specializes.
But here's the thing, though. That's fine. We don't care about that because you got 3 points from that. Now, if you would have got 7 points from that, then okay.
We got 3 that time. But you know what? If our guys ain't dropping footballs,
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
All right.
You got 18 play drive. You got down there. You didn't go for it. I don't know why y'all didn't, but that's cool.
I would have gone for it. Personally, I would have gone for it.
You got the 3 points. Cool, no problem. What happened the very next play?
I mean, we know.
Right.
I know Saquon went off and whatever.
So that's what I'm saying. We don't. The way that we play defense is, like I said,
it's bend but don't break.
It's bend but don't break. But the philosophy behind it is normally teams don't give you 18 play drives. Somewhere in there is
doing that the whole season though. Yeah. So
that's what I'm saying. We specialize in long drives.
That's the thing. We can all day, every day, and we can go over the top if it's there.
But here's what I'm saying: you can do that to other defenses. You're not going to do that to Philly though.
But we did it to you. But we did do it to y'all. That's the thing, though.
you-
With
Well,
the
no, I
lesser
mean,
roster,
if you
now
go
when
back,
we
if
get
you go
a
back, if
better
you,
roster,
and
now
if
we
you,
can do that all day with even better players.
and if you go
Exactly.
back to the second
Okay.
time they played, that's
Mhm.
the part that I think that's the only thing I get upset with Eagles fans about in this one is the second game. We understand that when Jalen Hurts got knocked out that game, it changed the whole game. We totally, no one's immune to understanding that.
There's
But
a lot of your fan base that doesn't.
Well,
But that's the
hold
give
on,
and take.
hold
with
on,
it.
but hold on. I
Wait,
think what I
Leslie.
think
No,
what
I don't want to wait.
Well,
Go ahead.
I think what they're upset about
Mhm.
is that yes, your quarterback was out and it changed the way you may have called the game. I get it. But that defense still was the number one defense in the league, and that defense still gave up 5 touchdown passes. Okay, maybe you could say not having Jalen Hurts change, as far as keeping the ball away from Jaden, and I get all that. But the defense still has to perform, and they were the number one defense in the league. And those drives that he was doing against them, those were 12, 13, and 15 play drives. So
even then, I didn't like how, like, Kenny Pickett still played okay, but I hate this argument where they were like, when you played against Jalen Hurts, well, we never said anything to y'all when y'all beat Taylor Heineke or Kyle Allen or all these other quarterbacks.
It's not the same thing.
Come on, Dick.
Now we're about to get into the whole situation. Now we about to get into it. This is what I wanted. I wanted that spice.
Never said nothing. We never said nothing when y'all beat Kyle Allen. We never said nothing when y'all beat Carson Wentz. We never said nothing when y'all beat Dwayne Haskins and whoever y'all want to throw in there.
It ain't no fun when the rabbit got a gun, okay?
Hold on. That's on y'all GM. That's y'all team. That ain't
We
got
never
nothing to
had
do
a
with
GM.
us.
Never had a GM.
Bro, I was just about to say you're gonna lose on that argument because they never had a GM.
We got one now, bro.
I
We
just
got
wanna
one
say
now,
that- I
and we
just wanna
coming,
say that-
okay?
I
Ain't
just
no
wanna
fun
say
when the
this.
rabbit got a gun, okay?
Hey, but listen.
Don't get mad at us because Marcus Mariota is not your backup.
Call it what you want.
I just want to say this. It's one thing when you had Howie Roseman for like 10 straight years going to every single thing, and we didn't have. Who do we have? Don't worry, I'll wait.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And then when you look at it from the
talking about
standpoint,
4 first-round draft picks that not just not on the team, but 2, 3 of them might end up out of football soon.
That's right.
Exactly. So I mean, you were sitting there worrying about, oh dang, are we gonna go ahead? Who we gonna play in the playoffs? We were just worrying about like, hey, how do we put this dumpster fire out for like the last 15 years? We couldn't even have a steady We couldn't even have a GM who wasn't SNA. Other people that was working for.
Put some respect on Daniel Snyder's name. Okay, I like that guy. Okay,
No, he liked him. Of course, he liked him because he was allowing this mess to happen.
You like him just
you like Daniel Snyder again, okay?
You like him just as much.
Here's
the one thing. You guys like him just as much as all of us like what's his name, Jerry Jones, Texas right now. I mean, of course you would. but all jokes aside, like, I mean, you got to look at it from the standpoint, like everybody else is saying. You have to put respect on the fact that we are putting this together in 1 year. You guys have been doing this for how long? For like the last 15 years? And it didn't take you this fast to go and do it. I'm not knocking your progress. You guys have been doing, bar none, you are the best right now.
The Eagles are the blueprint right now on how you put it together. It's the Eagles and the Ravens. They're the blueprint on how you put together an organization.
Exactly right.
But Washington is, I can just tell you guys from the love that I got in Indianapolis at the Combine, it was other media people. It was other, coaches and scouts showing us love. Washington folks, like, man, it's real. Adam Peters definitely has the respect of others around the league, and that was before he got to Washington. But now that he's being able to run the show himself, I think it's apparent that he probably was doing more in San Francisco than led to believe. So that's Washington's gain. That's the NFC East gain, because I've been saying this too, guys, for a long time. and I'm pretty sure Leslie's going to disagree with this because they just won a Super Bowl. They can say whatever they want,
Right.
But I think that the NFC East is better when all four of those teams are
winning.
viable, are winning,
Of course.
or have a chance to to do something because
Be the 80s.
that's just the way it always was. The Super Bowl came through the NFC East. Yeah, you had the 49ers out there that was the other team, and on occasion the Bears. But it was literally whoever was beating each other in the NFC East. And the irony is the Eagles weren't involved in that conversation at that time. So now the Eagles are the bully of the block. They're that. And I think sometimes their fan base doesn't understand that. I mean, we used to this. What you're doing now, I've seen this before multiple times. But now that it's back, it's good.
Hey, to your point about the NFC East. Sorry, not to cut you off, Dex, but would you consider Philly a big market? Because if the NFC East is the only division with four, would you consider Washington a big market? Four big market?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they're the only division with four.
They're the
big
only
market
division
teams.
with four. That's it.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
four big markets. I think
And
Philly
that's-
I think Philly was the lowest with 7th when they did
Philly,
the
Philly's
marketing.
I think Washington's smaller than Philadelphia. But they're all top 10 markets.
They're small in population, but as far as viewership, no, we're
Yeah,
talking.
I think
No.
Washington.
We just mean like size per capita and all
Oh,
that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I was okay. I was talking about as far as marketing and stuff like that.
No,
Like
marketing,
the market.
we're in the top 10. We're
Yeah,
in the top 10.
all
Redskins, I think-
four in the top 10 without question. New York, I
Absolutely.
think, is
Got
number
4
two.
million people in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's important, and the league needs that. The league needs for these big market teams, not just those four, but the LAs of the world. They need those teams to win more so than the small market, historical teams like Green Bay or Pittsburgh. I mean, it's money when your big market teams win. That's just the way it is.
And not to mention that I don't mean to cut you off. Like, we're the only division that has more than 2 Super Bowls per team.
Right.
Per team.
So, I mean,
It's all history there.
Yeah.
Finally, too. Yeah.
And the thing is that the Eagles just got theirs over the last 6 years. Those two.
Took them long enough.
But I meant by finally.
I'm just saying, man. Y'all, you talk
We
about
was
putting
wondering when
respect
y'all
on
was gonna join
stuff.
the club. Okay?
We can't play y'all every year in the NFC Championship game, man. If we play y'all every year, we have more. You know what I'm saying? But y'all building up, man.
So
It's okay.
somebody came in my DM this week and said, "Oh man, I remember the body bag game." I remember it too. I was at Penn State. I was in college. I remember, but I remember that game didn't derail Washington from going on and doing some damage.
They
Y'all
beat them
us in
later
the
on that
playoffs.
year.
You beat us in the
Absolutely,
playoffs
it
that
beat us
year
in
as
the
well.
playoffs. That's
20-6, I think.
that's
26.
my point in Philly, and that's my point. So yeah, because the person was trying to tell me that there's no rivalry. We're not gonna go back on that, but I do have a question for you guys now.
Mhm.
Okay, you got to put your thinking caps on for this one. And once you give me your answer, it'll help everyone in this chat session today understand why Washington is where they are now and why some fans are worried. So the question is, you can take, and Leslie, you can do this too, but you're going to do from the other team.
Okay.
You can take one player off Philadelphia to put on the Commanders that puts the Commanders over the hump.
Okay.
Everybody knows who that is.
It can make, I got even about 5 minutes.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so if I could jump in real quick, because I told you I got Wizards tickets. Okay, now you want to talk about bad sports? We can talk about that later. Okay, but I'm a
Good to
DC
see Alex
kid.
Sarr.
Born in DC, raised in PG. So I ain't got nothing, but I take Jalen Carter.
Ooh.
I want him.
Yeah.
I want that guy. Give me him.
That's
Okay, give me that guy that can disrupt from the middle all by himself. He's a false multiplier. He makes everybody on the line better because he's eating up double teams while the other guys are getting singles. I know people gonna say Saquon or Brown or this guy. Give me Jalen Carter. I want that guy.
I like that answer.
Like
man.
God.
That's
the right answer.
that's an incredible answer.
Yeah.
So do you guys agree, with Herb Senior, that if you get Jalen Carter on Washington, and now they are the favorites to beat the Eagles?
Without
Absolutely.
doubt,
Oh,
without a
yeah.
doubt. And here's
Oh,
the
yeah.
thing, because just like Pop said, you look at Jalen Carter in the year that he had. Be honest with yourself, and I'll even ask Leslie this: do you think that Milton Williams deserves $26 million?
A lot of money.
Don't make me curse. Okay.
You know what?
I mean,
We had to keep it, like you said, we had to
God
keep it
bless
clean,
him.
right?
Nah, you
God
can't.
bless
No
him.
cursing on this one.
God bless him. God bless him.
and I'll even go as far as this, because when you have the stamp by this generation's ALT with Aaron Donald, Aaron Donald said, "Yeah, that's baby me right there." And I mean, and just look at how much chaos he did. I mean, even as far as just going and just his intelligence, just how to process the play. I'll even go as far as when we did go ahead and beat y'all this year. Before, when we came over there and spiked that ball, what did Jalen Carter do? He was literally trying to scoop up the like who has athleticism
And Jalen's
enough
playing
and
that.
smart enough to pull something off like that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
look, hey, I gotta thank you for letting me on. I gotta get out of here. Please
All right,
have
Big
me
Herb.
again. I love this.
Please,
It
come
was
back.
way
That was
better than I
fun.
thought it would be. I genuinely, I'm mad because I'm having fun. Okay.
Nah, it's all good. Look, we do this in the off season every Friday, and I'm almost inclined to say I'm gonna be doing it during the regular season too.
Hey,
You
look,
know, I have a
if
lot
I'm
of
not in
fun
the
with it.
game, I'll be
Yeah.
there with you. Okay. So, but
All
look, thanks
right.
everybody. Even with Leslie. Okay, yeah.
Well, Herb, you my dog, man.
Hey, look,
We
man,
ain't
I
gotta be
appreciate
like
you for
that,
one
man.
reason. You stood in here in the Lions Den and you took it, because I've been to Philly. I've been to Philly. I was there when they closed the vet.
Yeah,
Okay.
man.
That
Those
last
were the
regular season game
days.
they played Tampa in the playoffs, but they played the Redskins on that last game in the vet, the last regular season game. So I've been to the vet and I wore my colors. So at that point, I'm gonna say I respect what you're doing and whatnot. And the Eagles are the best team in football right now.
Yes.
Thanks
All
for
right,
having me, guys. I
All
appreciate
right,
you.
Herb.
More than welcome. All right. So let's get back to the round robin stuff while pull your name out, because I want everybody to be able to get some love in here. So we can answer that question. Like, who would you take from? You can answer both sides. Who would you take from Washington to put on the Eagles to make them a legit dynasty now? I kind of have an idea, but this was going to be difficult answer. And then who would you take from the Eagles? Obviously. So let's lob up with Deuce first. What you got, Deuce?
Yeah, it's Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter puts the ball back
Oof.
in Jaden Daniels' hands. And on the Eagles, of course, it's Jaden Daniels, hands down. Like, still take yeah. No
Yeah,
doubt. no
we
doubt.
said this last week. If Jaden Daniels was the quarterback for the Eagles, and I know Leslie probably going crazy right now, but this is just throwing no shade on Jalen.
No.
But if Jaden is the quarterback for the Eagles, do they lose a game?
What? Didn't y'all lose to Cooper Rush? Get out of here with that mess. Hey, listen. I'm not going to disrespect the young buck like that. I'm not going to. I'm not going to compare a rookie to a Super Bowl MVP. I'm not doing that. And
Okay.
when the money was on the line, if you put a casual in that game to watch the television and you ask who was the best quarterback on that field, the name is Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, he was the best
Period.
quarterback. He was the best quarterback in
I'm
the
not-
first
He had
Super
the
Bowl.
best
So
stats.
we
He
He
but
was
had
see,
the
the
best
here's the thing.
quarterback in the
Dominic.
first Super Bowl.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing about it, guys. And you guys answer how you want to answer it. Look. You guys want Jaden to bring a Super Bowl to your team. That's yet to be determined. Jalen has already done that, and he should have did it 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And guess what?
But he
Eagles,
didn't.
Eagles got 21 picks in the next 2 drafts. We're gonna get another one.
Mhm.
He's
Mhm.
nobody. He's nobody.
Yeah,
but
I
Brian
know.
Mitchell with a
I
better
know.
arm.
I know.
So-
But the crazy part about
He's
that
Brian
is
Mitchell with a better
the
arm.
crazy part about that is he keeps beating the brakes off y'all.
Yeah, we
And
got
you
a
can't
quarterback
do
now.
nothing. You can't do nothing about
He
it.
just got a
listen,
good
listen.
supporting
I was in
cast.
Nothing about it.
Philadelphia.
Hold on,
I was in
hold on.
Leslie, his
Philadelphia this
supporting
week.
cast
I was in
is-
Philadelphia for the Thursday game, and he
How
did
many
not-
times have you guys?
It was all
beaten-
Saquon.
How
again.
many times have you beaten? Hold on. So you're telling me, what about before Saquon got here? Was Jalen beating the brakes off y'all?
No.
Not the
Y'all
breaks,
went
bro.
dominant like that.
Not,
I mean,
not,
Jalen
not
been
like
Jalen.
that. Not like
Jalen
that.
been Jalen now. Jalen's a monster, but y'all
No,
went
Jalen.
dogging.
Yeah. They
You must
weren't
have-
dogging
dog.
him.
Y'all ain't dogging him like that.
You must have
cooked you in
forget Taylor
2021.
Heineke. You must have forgot Taylor Heineke.
He cooked you in both
Did
games
you forget
in
Taylor
2021.
Heineke and Brian Robinson? Did you forget
Oh,
that?
and you talking about the 2022 game?
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you forget that
yeah.
game? Okay,
I
got you,
didn't.
got you.
I didn't.
So
I-
do
of
you
course
count?
not.
So my question
But did
now
you
is,
forget
do
what
you?
he did to you in 2023?
Yeah, but
did you forget that?
But he has losses against Washington.
Exactly.
But how many losses versus how many wins? What's his record against you?
So
guys?
do you
Well,
count? Do you,
Zach
do you
Martin
count?
lost
Do you
when y'all
count?
was
Do you count?
undefeated.
Do you count this year as a loss for him against Washington? Or are
I'm
you
gonna
gonna
let
say
I'm
because
gonna
he
let I'm
didn't
gonna
play?
let I'm gonna let y'all do that. That's what however you want. He played 11 plays in that game. You do it how you want to do it.
Listen,
Leslie sitting
Are
there
you-
flexing that
are you
ring
for-
like this and all.
No. This ain't about the
Hold on,
ring.
Herb.
This ain't
Hold on,
about
Herb.
the ring. This ain't because that's too easy. That's
Leslie,
too
are you
easy.
forgetting the loss that he took when y'all was undefeated and y'all went that whole season with one
Hold on,
blemish
see,
on y'all
look at
record,
look at
and
what
y'all know
look at
who
what you
y'all got
guys
it
are doing.
from?
Look at what you're
y'all
doing.
know who y'all got
no,
it
I'm
from.
just saying
look at what you're doing.
you had made
Look
the
at what
comment. You had made the comment that he
look at
beats
what
the
you guys
brakes
are
off
doing.
Washington, but
You
he's got
guys are
some
talking
losses on
about-
him now.
You guys are talking about 2 seasons ago.
We can talk
Okay?
about several. We
You're
only
talking
play
about-
each other twice
See,
a year.
let me ask
We
you
can
this.
talk
Let me
about
ask you
several
this.
losses.
Hold on. If I say 55 to you, what does that mean?
Oh, it's a
Michael
flex.
Jordan put up
It's a
against
flex.
Orlando when he came
Huh?
back.
It's a flex.
No,
It's a
Herb.
flex that we. It's
Hey,
a
you know
flex
what?
we
You know
can't
what?
deny.
You know what?
It's a flex
I'm
that.
a fall back
Hey,
because
I'm-
Josh.
Okay, let me
Josh,
just throw this
everybody
out
giving
there.
me,
Let me
you know.
just throw this out there real quick, just so I can get everybody on.
Mhm.
I think everyone, a lot of us, not everyone, but a lot of us were saying Saquon because he gives Washington the home run threat. Do the Eagles win the Super Bowl this year without Saquon?
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh no.
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna say this.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna say this, and the reason why I'm saying it is
Y'all don't
because
beat us without Saquon.
Oh my God.
Wait a minute,
I'll go
wait.
ahead and say this.
Let everybody speak. Come on, go on, Herb. Go on,
You
Herb.
really see how good Jalen
I'm
Hurts is.
just saying
No
this,
Saquon.
and I'm going to, because here's the thing: when you have a multiple champion that you're going up against, and you make him look like Taylor Heineke, I mean that defense was bar none. Like, I mean we were literally we was more interested in the Kendrick Lamar concert than we were the actual Super Bowl. I mean, gotta give credit to that defense, and this is unbiased opinion. With Saquon, yeah, he got you through the regular season. Saquon wasn't even really that much of a factor in the Super Bowl because the defense was so good.
Whoa. Let me say this.
I'm not taking anything away from Saquon.
No. I think Saquon was one of the most important factors of the Super Bowl
he was
because Kansas City's defense focused on him so much. Everything else opened up.
I'm talking about as far as production wise.
So
let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
Production wise, he wasn't that much of a. He was a integral cog in that offense. But as far as just saying production wise, that defense was like you. I mean, we was literally looking at what's the cornerback's name? He's getting a pick six on his birthday. We looking at everything. Wanted like, damn, this defense is beating the brakes off of him.
Yeah, Cooper.
and they didn't blitz once.
They don't have to.
So I have to give credit to that.
But
defense.
you guys still think, I mean, not just that one game getting to the Super Bowl. Do you think they get to the Super Bowl with no Saquon?
No.
That's too
without
difficult.
him,
No.
Yeah,
I
know you guys don't like it. I get
Bro,
it.
who you
I
got?
get it.
Dang, were you gonna ride Gainwell the whole season?
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you guys a question? Have the Eagles and Jalen Hurts gotten to the Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley?
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
Okay. Did Jalen Hurts ball out in that game without Saquon Barkley?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Should have been the MVP.
Okay. So my question to you guys, third question, sorry. How can you sit here and say when you've seen it with your own 2 eyes? Everybody got 2 eyes.
Because
he
all
didn't
the other
Y'all seen
win.
that?
teams
You've
have
seen
lost.
that. You've
Win.
seen that.
Didn't you
Hold on,
just?
hold on, hold on,
I
hold on,
mean,
hold on. You-
Leslie, didn't you just say? But that was 2 years ago.
No,
You
no, no,
talking
no,
about
no,
something
no,
from
no,
2 years
no,
ago?
it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. We're talking about what?
It's the same thing.
No, it's not. We're
But
talking
you
about
didn't
what
do
you've
it
seen.
last year. But you didn't do it last
We're
year.
talking about what you have seen. You have seen it. So when you say that he can't make the Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley, you have seen that before.
Yeah, but Jaden Daniels wasn't in
Leslie,
the league when that happened.
In
and
23,
that's
they
fair
didn't do
too.
that.
That's a fair comment. But Leslie, I think you have to
That was me
understand.
trolling you, Leslie.
We remember last year, and the wheels fell off with the Eagles, and they got destroyed by Tampa in the first round of the playoffs.
Talk about it.
The problem with that was guys were getting disgruntled because they weren't getting the football, they weren't passing, they weren't doing those things. What Saquon did for the Eagles this year was magical because he allowed you to hide the weaknesses of Jalen
Yes.
Hurts
Talk,
by
Lane.
not having to pass all the time because you had a 2,000-yard running back. And Jalen could do what he does best. And I've said this before, and this is I have Jalen Hurts as these gentlemen will tell you, I just argued for him to be a top 5 rated quarterback last week. He's in the top 5, but he's also numero uno game managing quarterback in the league without question. That's all you have to do when you have a Saquon.
But
You
see,
just manage the game and not lose this game for us.
But see, here's the difference though. He's a game manager, but if you need him to put the cape on, he can do that. That's the thing.
Yeah,
That's the
because
thing about it.
I will
consistently.
That's the thing
Can
about that.
he
he's done
consistently
that.
do
He's
that?
done that
though?
consistently.
I will.
That's
I
why
will
he's
say
been
this.
named of All Pro. That's why he was
Man,
named
Deuce.
All Pro.
I
Go ahead,
will
Deuce.
say this. I think the focus is too much on Saquon. The focus is on a running game. When you went to the Super Bowl, Miles Sanders put up a year that
He had
never
1,100 yards.
Right, he had a crazy yard. So it's the running game.
Good
if
point.
you don't
Good
have
point.
a running game,
That awesome offense.
Jalen Hurts will not be able to get you will not get to the Super Bowl. Because look what happened last year. You know what? Let's make Jalen Hurts beat us.
That's
And
not what happened last year.
He
Y'all
was
stop
not.
giving the ball to Swift.
He's not able to do it without a running game. It has nothing to do with so much with Saquon. It's about him needing a running game to be successful.
That's not what happened.
Just gotta
That's not actually not what happened last year. There was a lot of stuff going on in that locker room.
Because he couldn't get them the football.
How can he not get him the football when him and AJ Brown set a record of 6 straight games with 125 yards?
Yes,
6
that was
straight games.
before.
But-
That was before the
Yeah,
wheels fell
before.
off.
So remember, they lost
that
like
wasn't the
7
issue.
out of
lost
their
like
last
7
8
straight
games. Yeah,
because-
7 out of their last
we never
8.
lost. We finished 11-6. We never finished. We never lost 7 in a row. What I'm saying to you is, listen to me. Listen to what I'm
I'm
saying.
talking
to
about
you
the
guys.
playoff loss too.
Right. Listen to what I'm saying to you guys. I'm telling you, as an Eagles fan, if you talk to any Eagles insider up there, the issue was not Jalen Hurts. The issue was what was going on in that locker room. You had Hassan Reddick threatening to beat up the defensive coordinator. That's why he got shipped out. You had him. Then we traded.
And you bringing in, Patricia and all these guys.
Right.
And
Exactly. So,
But you
that's-
started
and if
off
you
hot
guys-
though.
If
You
you
started
if you-
off the best team, undefeated.
That
right?
we weren't. We weren't.
I
We were
mean,
10-1.
you-
So
We were
the
10-1.
defensive issues was
listen, you
affecting the
started off
offense?
10-1, but all of a sudden when you
Yes.
start losing, let me blame everything else but the quarterback.
Right, but hold on,
Okay,
dude.
let's say
But hold on,
y'all do
man.
that.
Hold on.
Let's say
hold
y'all
on,
do
hold
that.
on.
I like that. I like that point.
He's
Because
Brian
it
I
Mitchell.
like that.
He's
I like
Brian
that. I
Mitchell
like
with
that
a
you said
better
that. Watch
arm.
how I cook him on
Brian
this.
Mitchell with a better arm. That's
I
what
like
he
that.
is.
I like that. I like that.
Hold on,
I like that.
this one
Watch
today.
how I
This
cook
one
him.
today was a little bit
watch
more
how I cook 'em.
spicy.
So let me ask you a question.
Wait, Leslie, hold on.
Go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
Because you said it was everything that was going on in that locker room. Y'all didn't lose y'all last few games. Lake added in the playoff game. You said y'all finished 11-6, and y'all still made it to the playoffs. It's like what point can you make? You still made it to the playoffs, and y'all still had a winning record that was way above 500. Y'all were still a team that was still producing. So no matter what's going on in the locker room, y'all still producing. Y'all still going to the playoffs. I want to hear none of that locker room mess. Y'all still win. There's teams out there that got great locker rooms that didn't do nothing. You see what I'm saying? He don't want to hear that, Lake. He don't want to hear that, Deuce.
All right. Well, look.
Yeah,
Well,
that
look.
was
Well,
weak,
look. Well,
Lake.
look. Well, look. Well, look. I gotta tell you, this was I wanted to do something different with this, with the show, and
It's fun.
for real. I appreciate Leslie for coming on, and giving us a different perspective. It goes to show you that how close we are, as far as some views, and then how far apart we are, like totally not understanding that last one because no running game, no playoffs. So,
Yeah.
but with that said, I want to keep doing this, and I do want to keep bringing in fans. I got a neighbor I just ran into earlier today. He's from Chicago, a big Bears fan, and he's the guy I told you guys that asked me, do I think the Bears feel like they have buyer's remorse as far as picking Caleb and not Jaden? But he wants to come on next Friday. So Leslie, you're more than welcome to come back on, man.
Yeah,
we
I'm
want
here.
to keep building
I'm
this
here.
out and getting different perspectives. This is a commander centric show, but at the end of the day, I'm NFL media, so I can't be biased. But I think the good thing is that my Commanders brothers in here can finally talk and feel confident and not feel like they're not part of the conversation. They are the conversation, and I do think that some fans from other teams know Washington's part of the conversation now, but they still don't want to give that to them. So they just got to go out and do it again this year, and then they'll be really part of the conversation. So
I just gotta say this in the words of
Yes.
Birdman: put some respect on our name. That's all we asking, man.
Hey,
Well, look, man.
Hey,
Yes.
Leslie, real talk, though,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah. Go ahead, baby.
You jumped in the lake, no pump, with sharks, man. Come on now. You had to know. You had to know we was gonna come at you as a Philly fan.
Bro, see,
You
here's
know
the
what I'm
thing,
saying? You
boss,
had to
and
know.
I love it. But see, y'all have to understand, I grew up in the DMV.
Okay.
I couldn't
So
wait.
I grew up in Silver Spring, Upper Marlboro, Largo. This is nothing to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Gotcha.
remember,
I got
I
you.
always have the trump card. All
You
I
got
have
it.
to say is 55. Everybody's gonna
Yeah,
Damn, I hate that.
Just come on back next
Tony,
week,
what's
Leslie,
up,
so we
baby?
can dice you
What's
up.
up, Tony?
I mean, it's real until they play, and and if Washington has to do is they have to get in there and they have to win a Super Bowl. They win a Super Bowl. I'm not going to say it diminishes Philly, but
No, of course
now
not.
you start putting up the amount of trophies and stuff like that. That's what Washington has to do to get back to something
The new arrival
relevant.
is here.
And
The
it's
new
coming
arrival.
though. It's coming. It's coming for.
Y'all got to get Brian Mitchell, man. Y'all got to get a quarterback like Brian Mitchell. Get it done. And get it done.
Hey,
You get it
man.
done.
You already
You know what I mean?
man.
Hey,
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 man.
hey.
Hey,
You
You
already
man.
got
can't
him.
you can't beat Brian
Shout out to
Mitchell.
Brian
man.
Mitchell,
You
man.
can't
Shout
beat
out to Brian Mitchell.
Shout
All
out number
right,
You
30.
can't beat Brian Mitchell.
Well, look, fellas, we're gonna wrap this up, and
Oh man, y'all
yeah,
good dudes.
yeah,
man.
yeah. Now we're gonna wrap this up, but again, everybody that came in, I appreciate you guys. Love to have you guys back on next Friday. We'll pick this back up. We'll be a little bit more scripted next week, but at the same time, I mean, this is love. Everybody
Yeah,
gets a chance to just
definitely.
Do we get the
voice their
socials out real
opinions and
quick?
do all that stuff. Say that again.
Can we get the socials out real quick? Because
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I haven't
want
got
to
yeah.
follow some of y'all so we can keep the conversation going
Yeah,
on.
definitely.
We'll go ahead and plug your socials. So go ahead.
All right, so most definitely, my name's Big Herb off the bench. You can follow me on IG OFFBENCH off DABENCH _ HTTC. You can follow me on YouTube as well, off the bench.
All right, Deuce, you got your soul.
Yeah, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, all that. Red Zone in the lab.
Okay. All right, Tony. I know you don't have a social, but that's
Yeah,
I saw
got
you.
one.
I saw you on Twitter.
I got
okay.
one.
Okay.
I'm at Fatboy Tony C1 on X.
Okay.
I'm putting it in the chat.
All right, Dex.
Oh, Dex Wayne on IG, and then we got a podcast coming called Stay on That Side, so keep up with it.
All right, Josh.
Yeah, J Skinny G on the Insta, and then Expedition Band on the Insta as well. Expedition with an X.
All right, Brad.
B_Quincy. Come holla at me.
All right, Bradford.
Mine is straight STR the number 8 Savage 4 on IG.
Okay, Jerry. Is Jerry there? Okay, I think Jerry may have
Well,
gone
mute.
off.
Okay, yeah, I'm here. My
All
bad.
right, and then,
Sink or Soul, with starts with a 5, no E. It's all one word. I posted it in the chat on IG.
Another
got
singer in
you,
the house.
got you. And then of course, Leslie, our Eagles fan.
What's going on, man?
Ooh, this man.
E-L-E. Nah, I'm messing with y'all, man. Hey, look, first I want to thank y'all for allowing me on y'all platform, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate each and every one of y'all, man, for real. I'm on Instagram, man. LesDog1978. I appreciate all you guys, man.
It's all love, Leslie.
Yeah,
It's
for
all
sure.
love.
All
It's
love,
all
man.
love.
For sure.
Let
Hey,
me
listen.
look that up now so I can go bash your comment.
And fellas, let me tell y'all for real, man. Like I've had a lot of comments about these shows. You know, like getting a lot of compliments. Like, you know, for you being a media person. Normally, media people don't do these things. That's why I wanted to do it. But I have fun with this. Like I look forward to my Fridays. You know, to get you guys on. So again, you're more than welcome to come on. I'm just going to keep shooting out that chain email to everyone. If you want to come in on Fridays, you'll get it regardless. If you can't make it, I totally understand, but I'm welcoming you to come back on, and we're going to keep building this thing out. I'm going to have to go ahead and do this on the laptop so I can see all your faces at the same time. But yeah, man, I appreciate everybody for taking time out of their Friday coming on. This will be up later tonight, and you'll be able to see it. I'll also tag you on social media as well. So definitely keep putting that stuff out there and keep supporting what I'm doing. But yeah, I had a lot of fun today. It was all love.
All love, man. For
All
real.
love. Appreciate you, like.
Request, Leslie.
Okay, yeah, holla at me. We good.
I sent
right,
you one
fellas.
too, bro.
Okay, all right, we good, man.
Go
55 is just a Spike Lee commercial talking about Mike giving me double that. That's it. That's it.
Hey, look. Every once in a while, y'all know I'm gonna get y'all to something with that. Y'all know it's coming. Y'all know it's on the way. I'm gonna get you with it, man. But look, if y'all get us next year, and I think we're gonna split. Y'all get us next year. If we do this during the season, I'm gonna be like this, you know, take my hat off.
Hey, Leslie, you know I'm still recording this, and I heard you say we're going to split. So I just want to make sure all that stuff from earlier. Nah, you came clean at the end.
I'm a real football fan, man. Y'all got a good team, man. It's a split. Come on now.
And
That's
the
what's
word,
up.
I need that hat, Deuce. That's on fire.
it is.
It's
Yeah.
in there. I
Yeah,
put the
that's
little link
nice.
in there.
That's nice right
Thank
there.
you.
Put the link in there.
You got some
Appreciate
nice
it.
stuff on there.
But in the word, if you're a wrestling fan, in the words of Street Profits, we want the smoke,
All of it.
all the smoke.
All right, well, look, guys, we're going to wrap it up, man. You guys have a great weekend, and we'll be back here next week, same time, same place, all right?
Go Turks,
All right.
go
All right,
Turks.
fellas.
All right, take
All
care,
right,
man.
peace.
All right.
Peace.
Man, you see how exciting that was? It's always a good time. And again, if you want to come on and be one of those fans that was just on, all you have to do is email me at thelakeLewisJr.show@gmail.com. Let me know you want to come on and I will get you on. We're building this thing out. It'll be a lot more people on next week. And it varies. Sometimes there's 3 people on. Sometimes like today, there's 10 people on. You know, we've had a show where there was 12 people on. So it's just going to keep building out. But let me know if you want to come on. So as always, my friends, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day today on a Friday and checking this out. Have a great weekend, and we'll be back next week with more great content for you. Take care.